The text arrived at 11:14 p.m. "I'm here. Let me up." Maya Chen stared at the glowing screen, her thumb hovering over the keyboard. She was alone in her third-floor walk-up, the city's ambient hum filtering through the single-pane windows. She didn't recognize the number. "Sorry, wrong number," she typed, and rolled over, pulling the quilt to her chin. 3 minutes later, another buzz. "Don't lie to me, Claire. I can see your light on." Maya's blood chilled. She lived alone. Her name wasn't Claire. She sat up, heart thudding, and crept to the window. Below, under the flickering street lamp, a figure stood perfectly still. Male, tall, face obscured by a hood. He was looking directly up at her window. She didn't turn on any more lights. She dialed 911 with shaking fingers. The operator promised a patrol car within the hour. Non-emergency. By the time she worked up the courage to look again, the figure was gone. But a new message waited on her phone. "See you tomorrow, Maya." She didn't sleep. By dawn, she had changed her locks, or rather paid an exorbitant emergency fee to a sleepy locksmith who called her honey and didn't ask questions. She also filed a police report at the precinct, where a bored officer named Detective Rourke told her it was likely a drunk or a prank. "He knew my name," Maya insisted, sliding her phone across the counter. Rourke glanced at the screen. "Could have gotten it from your mailbox. Don't answer unknown numbers. We'll note it." Walking home, she took a circuitous route, crossing avenues, doubling back. The city felt like a glass house. Every reflection in a car window, every stranger's glance held potential threat. She worked from home as a freelance audio editor, a job of silences and subtleties, of listening for the wrong note in a recording. Now she listened for footsteps on the stairs, for a key turning in a lock that wasn't hers. That night, she downloaded a security app and pointed her laptop's camera at the hallway door. At 2:17 a.m., the motion alert went off. The footage showed nothing but the empty hallway, but the audio, her specialty, caught something. A soft, rhythmic scrape. Not footsteps. Something dragged lightly against her door. Then, breathing. Slow, deliberate, almost meditative. Then a whisper, too low for the mic to decipher. She played it back 20 times. On the 21st, she isolated the frequency. "I like the way you listen." Maya confronted her landlord, a heavy-set man named Mr. Akhtar who smelled of turmeric and cigarette smoke. He checked the building logs. No one had entered after hours. The basement door was still padlocked. The roof access required a key only he possessed. "Maybe you are stressed," he suggested gently. "Long hours with the headphones." She wanted to scream. Instead, she asked for the name of the previous tenant. Mr. Akhtar flipped through a greasy ledger. Claire something. Claire Bennett. Moved out 4 months ago. Skipped the last month's rent. Claire. The name from the first text. Did she have any visitors? A boyfriend? A man? Mr. Akhtar shrugged. She was quiet, kept to herself. I think she worked late, like you. Maya asked for Claire's forwarding address. Mr. Akhtar didn't have one. He did, however, have a last known phone number. Maya dialed it from the stoop. Disconnected. That night, she searched Claire Bennett on every social platform, every public records database, every news archive. Nothing. It was as if Claire had evaporated. Then, buried on page 4 of the search results, a minor blurb from a suburban paper 2 towns over. Woman missing. Police seek information. Claire Bennett, 29, was last seen leaving her workplace on October 12th. The date was 3 days before Maya had moved in. Detective Rourke didn't return her call. Maya left a voicemail, then a second, then a third. She was becoming the hysterical woman in the files, the one cops roll their eyes at. so she took matters elsewhere. She hired a private investigator named Leo Cruz, a retired cop with kind eyes and a scar across his knuckles. Leo worked fast. Within 48 hours, he had a file. Claire Bennett had been a data analyst. No known enemies, no boyfriend on record. But she had filed a restraining order 6 weeks before she vanished, against a man named Daniel Marsh, a former IT contractor at her firm. Daniel had been fired for installing keyloggers on female employees' computers. He had a hobbyist's interest in surveillance tech and a prior conviction for stalking in another state. Leo pulled a DMV photo. Maya's stomach turned to ice. It was the face from the streetlamp night. The hood was down in the photo. He was handsome, in a forgettable way, the kind of face that blends into a crowd, that you wouldn't remember an hour later. They never found Claire, Leo said quietly. They never found Daniel either. He went off-grid the same week she disappeared. He's not off-grid, Maya whispered. He's in my building. Leo advised her to leave. Pack a bag, go to a hotel. Let him arrange a safe house. Maya agreed. She even packed jeans, a sweater, her noise-canceling headphones, her laptop. But as she reached for her car keys on the hook by the door, a text arrived. New number. New message. Running won't help. I know where you breathe. She froze. Then she heard it. Not from the phone, from the wall. A soft, almost imperceptible tapping, synchronized with the rhythm of her own racing heart. The apartment shared a ventilation shaft with the unit next door, Unit 3B, which had been vacant since she moved in. The landlord had shown it to a prospective tenant 2 weeks ago, but the man had paid cash for a month's rent and then never formally signed a lease. Maya didn't call the police. She called Leo. He arrived in 20 minutes, gun visible under his jacket. Together, they knocked on 3B. No answer. Leo put his ear to the door. There's a hum, he said. Electronics. He called the landlord. Mr. Akhtar arrived with a master key, grumbling about dramas. The door swung open. The apartment was empty of furniture, but it was far from empty. One wall was papered with photographs. Maya at the grocery store. Maya walking her neighbor's dog. Maya asleep in her bed, captured through a telephoto lens. A bank of monitors displayed live feeds from cameras hidden in her apartment's light fixtures, her smoke detector, even the frame of her bathroom mirror. And in the center of the room, a single lawn chair fastened the shared ventilation wall. A pair of headphones hung from the armrest. He had been listening to her breathe for weeks. Police swarmed the building. Daniel Marsh was gone. The apartment showed evidence of recent occupation. Fast food wrappers, a sleeping bag, an elaborate hardwired system that tapped into the building's power grid. But no Daniel. Forensics lifted prints. They matched the missing person file. They also found something else. A single earring, tangled in the sleeping bag. Leo held it up. A small silver hoop. Claire's? Maya asked. We'll see, Leo said, but his face told her he already knew. Detective Rourke finally called back. His tone had changed. He told Maya to stay somewhere public, somewhere with cameras. He promised a patrol car outside her building. He asked if she had anywhere else to go. She lied and said yes. She went home. Because something Daniel had said in his text, "I know where you breathe," had triggered a memory. In her first week in the apartment, she had found a loose floorboard in the bedroom closet. Under it, a USB drive wrapped in a faded hair ribbon. She had assumed it was junk and tossed it in a drawer. Now, she dug it out. She plugged it into her laptop. The drive contained a single video file. Date stamp, October 12th, the day Claire vanished. Maya pressed play. Claire Bennett stared into the camera, her face tear-streaked, her voice a trembling whisper. If you're watching this, you're in danger. He knows how to wait. He knows how to listen. He told me once that silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. It's full of answers. Don't try to fight him. Don't try to run. You have to make him want to be seen. The video ended. Maya played it again. Make him want to be seen. She understood. Daniel thrived on secrecy, on the hidden vantage, on the power of being the watcher unseen. His only vulnerability was exposure. She knew what she had to do. Over the next 2 days, Maya didn't hide. She lived her life in full view. She took her laptop to the coffee shop with the big windows. She walked her neighbor's dog in the park at the same time every evening. She left her curtains open. She smiled at security cameras. And she recorded everything. Every public interaction, every passerby, every face in the background of her photos. On the second night, Leo called. He's watching you. We caught a glimpse on a bus depot camera. He was 2 blocks behind you this afternoon, wearing a different cap, different jacket. But the walk, same walk. Good, Maya said. Let him watch. That night, she sat in her living room, lights blazing, and worked on her laptop. The front door was unlocked. The building's security camera, which Mr. Akhtar had reluctantly installed, was pointed directly at her hallway. She was the bait, and Daniel, patient as a spider, would eventually want to see her up close. At 1:47 a.m., the camera feed flickered. Then it went black. She heard the soft click of her front door opening. She didn't run. She turned in her chair slowly. Daniel Marsh stood in her doorway, filling the frame. He was thinner than his DMV photo, gaunt almost, with the hollow eyes of a man who had lived in walls. He held a roll of duct tape in one hand and a coil of nylon rope in the other. "You left the door open," he said. His voice was soft, almost sad. That was careless. "No," Maya said. It was an invitation. He tilted his head. The gesture was eerily bird-like. "You're not scared." "Oh, I'm terrified," she admitted. Her hands were shaking under the desk, out of sight. "But I know something you don't." He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "What's that?" "That you're the one being watched." From the closet behind him, Leo Cruz stepped out, gun leveled. From the fire escape window, 2 uniformed officers swung inside, their boots silent on the rug. Daniel's smile faltered. He looked at Maya, not with rage, but with something worse. Respect. "Clever," he said, raising his hand slowly. Claire never thought of that. "Where is Claire?" Maya asked. Daniel's eyes glinted. "You're a better listener than she was. But you still haven't heard everything." In interrogation, Daniel spoke only to request a lawyer, but Leo had already obtained a warrant for the 3B apartment's hard drives. The forensic analysis took 6 hours. What they found turned the case inside out. The ventilation shaft didn't just connect to Maya's apartment. It connected to a crawl space behind her bathroom wall, a space not on any building plan. Inside that crawl space, investigators found a mattress, a water jug, and a small digital recorder. On that recorder, 37 files, dates spanning 4 months. The first 20 were ambient sounds, the hum of pipes, traffic noise. Then, On file 21, a woman's voice, Claire's voice, saying, "Please, just let me go. I won't tell anyone." A pause, then Daniel's voice. "But you already told someone. You told Maya, before you even met her." Maya listened to the recording in Leo's office, her face ashen. The voice continued. "Claire didn't vanish, Maya. She planned this. She picked you. She saw your work profile online. Audio editor, good with sound, curious. She left the USB drive for you. She knew you'd find it. She knew you'd listen." The final file was dated 3 days ago. Claire's voice again, weaker this time, but coherent. "Maya, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I used you, but he would have found someone else anyway. You had to become his focus so I could survive. The police won't find my body because I'm not dead. I'm in the walls too, and I'm coming out." The police excavated the crawl space behind 3B. They found an emergency exit Daniel had built, a concealed panel leading to the basement furnace room. And behind that panel, they found Claire Bennett. She was alive, emaciated, dehydrated, her hair matted, her fingernails broken from clawing at concrete, but alive. Daniel had kept her as a living trophy, feeding her just enough, moving her through the building's hidden cavities like a prisoner in a submarine. He had used her to lure Maya, yes, but not as a proxy, as bait within bait. At her hospital bedside, Maya held Claire's hand. Claire's eyes were hollow but aware. "I'm sorry," Claire whispered. "I thought if he had a new target, he'd get careless. I thought you'd call the police right away." "I did," Maya said. "They didn't listen. So you listened instead." Maya nodded. "It's what I do." Daniel Marsh was charged with 2 counts of aggravated stalking, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. Claire Bennett, after recovery, faced no charges. Prosecutors deemed her actions those of a desperate victim, not a conspirator. Maya moved to a new city. She still works as an audio editor. But now, before she goes to sleep, she checks the window locks 3 times, and she listens. Not for footsteps, not for whispers. She listens for the silence, because she knows now that silence is never truly empty. It's just waiting to be heard.